both in the UK and in India, are going to be able to transfer staff much easier. It's called intercompany transfers. There was a clampdown under the last government, but this is now changing. And this deal will mean that that's going to be easier. We haven't seen the fine print because it's just been agreed. Piyush Goyal, the Commerce Secretary, was in London last week talking to Johnny Reynolds, our Business Secretary. We didn't know it was quite so close, but as you said, this has been going on for a long time, so it is something to celebrate. If it's been agreed between the two prime ministers, then it's going to happen. And now we need to make sure that the implementation is as smooth as the decision that was made today.
And Keith, there have also been hot and cold agreements in terms of immigration and reparations, as well as Indian antiques, that are still in the United Kingdom. Do you think this agreement is also going to soften that stance, and if not, perhaps open up some gateway for a conversation there?
Well, part of this is about visa changes, but it deals with corporations rather than individuals. As you know, we have more Indian students in the United Kingdom studying here than any other country in the world. And we need to make sure that that continues. We need to make sure that people can come here and study here, as well as come and work here. But also in terms of visitors' visas, that also needs to be made as efficient as possible. I'm afraid the cost of getting a visa to visit the UK on a fast track is absolutely massive. So let's hope in the detail, the Indian government have pointed out that it is disproportionate for Indians to have to pay so much money to come on what is a very short visit to the UK. This is the way that you build up relations over a period of time. So let's look at that detail, because it is important. We need to make sure that it works. But the reason why this has been concluded so quickly is, of course, Donald Trump is putting tariffs on all countries all over the world, India included. Despite the chemistry between Prime Minister Modi and President Trump, there are still going to be tariffs on Indian goods entering the United States. So in a sense, this is saying to the Americans, well, we don't need you. We can conclude our own deals. Yes, you can get Jack Daniels made in Tennessee, but we can do Scotch whisky in Scotland and have our Scotch whisky. It's much cheaper. Anyone who's bought a Scotch whisky in India, not that I'm a whiskey drinker, by the way, you'll find the cost is horrendous. So if this brings it down for the Indian people, that's very good. And similarly, the textiles coming in here, they need to also, we also need to ensure that we can get these textiles, these fantastic goods that India produces, without putting tariffs on them, thus boosting the Indian economy. So every time you hear the word free trade, it's good. And I'm glad this has been concluded.
Keith was always a pleasure having you. Thank you so much for joining us all the way from York. Thank you. Moving on, well, Merz has been elected as the German Chancellor after the second round of voting earlier today. 69-year-old Merz, who led his Conservative Party to federal election victory in February, won just 310 votes in the Bundestag, 6 short of an absolute majority. Siddharth Mudgal, former candidate, Bundestag election. He's joining us all the way from Munich at this point in time. Well, it's a great day, Siddharth, and obviously it was a close call, but now it seems Mr. Merz is, in the coveted position.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, what do you make of his victory? How is Germany likely to, in fact, navigate some of the problems that it has been facing in the last few years? Immigration has been a big deal in Germany. And of course, that is one area where citizens have also expressed a lot of concern as to who they choose to run and govern Germany.
So I think just to make a couple of comments there, yes, it's unfortunate that Friedrich Merz did not win in the first round today. But as you already know, a couple of minutes ago, 20 minutes, half an hour ago, Friedrich Merz has been announced as the new Chancellor of Germany. The votes went in his favor. I personally think this was more about some dissidents within the own parties, but also the other parties who voted against him. From my perspective, any party should be supporting his candidature because an alternative for Germany is not to be seen right now, right? And Friedrich Merz has come up with a fantastic plan on what needs to be done for the country. If you look at the ministers which he has nominated in his cabinet, he has made sure, first of all, that there are a lot of female leaders as ministers and very capable leaders. And the second important thing is he has brought in really heavyweights from the industry to lead certain ministries which really need the support, where people need the support. For example, digitalization in Germany is a big aspect on which he has really focused a lot. Now, on your question on the migration, I had the opportunity to meet Friedrich Merz, and he also had a public meeting there. He very clearly put migration as not the foremost priority, but revitalizing the economy and digitalization as the key priorities which he has for the country. So, from that perspective, I think we are on track. We have the right people on board, and this will
All right.
help us to regain the trust of the people.
Siddharth, appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much. Well, that's all we have time for. For more international updates, keep watching NewsX World.